Hello, mysterious person behind the screen. Today I am joined by Isaac,
Hi there.
and this is a commentary to Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. Now, this is just a commentary. This isn't the whole film for you to watch, but I hope you enjoy it. So, without further ado,
If you'd like to put the timestamp to 0, this is the Blu-ray version, by the way. If
yes,
you'd like to put up your own copy of the film, put the timestamp to 0, and press play in 1, 2, 3, now.
yes, there's the Warner Brothers logo, all sinister.
This doesn't morph into a bat, does it?
No, that comes in the Schumacher films.
That does, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing these this series of commentaries are fairly timely considering when we get to the Schumacher films. Considering found out last night that Joel Schumacher sadly passed away.
Also, by amazing coincidence, Michael Keaton is in talks to reprise his role as Batman.
Yes, he is. In the Flash, I believe, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Which should be interesting to see how that goes. Because that film's been in development hell for years, isn't it? So
Yeah, well, I heard they were supposed to start filming on it in 2018, something like that, but because the DCEU got shaken up a lot, I
yes,
think it was cancelled or postponed, so they probably
yeah,
just rethought everything.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's bit of that early DCEU period is a bit of a disaster. It's really only recently that they've kind of got it on track.
Yeah. I mean, the way Michael Keaton looks now, he could very much play a Dark Knight Returns Bruce Wayne.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I was talking to someone a while ago, and they said do a Batman Beyond film and have Terry McGinnis in it, and then Michael Keaton could play the older Bruce Wayne, and which would be pretty cool.
In an ideal world, I would have loved to have had a Batman v Superman film with Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve.
Oh man, I mean, in an ideal world, I would have liked Batman v Superman to be good. I watched that the other day because I've been doing I did all the Batman films, watched them all, then all the Superman films, which led me into the DCEU, and I have firmly decided that Batman v Superman is my least favourite Superman film, Batman film. It's just, I really don't like that film.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, does Suicide Squad count as a Batman film?
He's in it for a bit, isn't he? That's the next thing I've got to watch, which I'm not looking forward to.
I've not watched that since I saw it in cinemas nearly 4 years ago, and I don't really want to start again.
Yeah. So interesting to note that bat symbol there that was in the opening credits. Interesting that doesn't appear in the film really, because the Batman symbol is on his costume is quite different, isn't it? It's got these little tail bits,
Yeah, it does.
which is weird, considering that was the symbol that was everywhere for the promotion of this and everything.
hmm When I first watched this back in 2013, I thought this was Thomas and Martha Wayne.
I always did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I first watched this as a kid, and I don't really remember much of the experience, to be honest. But yeah, this opening definitely sort of it leads you down the road of thinking, oh, we're about to see Batman's parents be killed, but it's an interesting way of opening it.
hmm Plus, the Gotham you explore in the video game Arkham Knight looks very much like this one.
Yeah, yeah, the Arkham series in general is like a perfect mixture of sort of different
Yeah.
styles.
It's got the industrial gothic look of the Tim Burton films, the voices from the animated series,
Mm.
the gritty realism of the Nolan films, and even some of the neon lighting from the Schumacher films.
Yeah, exactly. It's all sort of brought together. It's yeah. This it definitely the opening of this puts its mark on it being different from what audiences sort of perceive Batman to be in 1989, especially coming off the Adam West series and everything. This is very different straight away.
Yeah, because that's all they had to that's the most they had to compare to in terms of live action Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
Campy Adam West.
It's his hand animated Batman here.
Oh yeah.
It's very. That's an odd shot. It's weird, but yeah, no. I mean, this is rated 15, and as a kid, I watched it as a really young kid, and I guess my parents just didn't. They just saw Batman and thought, oh, it'll be fine. But I don't remember ever being bothered by it or scared by it or anything. It's
I'm genuinely surprised the first two films are 15 because I don't think they're that violent. I'd have said they're a 12.
Maybe not I think the second one does push into 15 territory at points, but this first one is it suits a 12 rather than a 15.
Yeah, because I don't think they're any more as violent than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
No, yeah. It's weird how they classify it. It's Christopher Fairbank, isn't it, as the guy with the cigarette in his mouth?
What's he been in?
Loads of. He's quite a famous British actor. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the shopkeeper that Yondu goes to.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in loads of things.
Well, this was filmed in England, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's very comparable to the Superman films actually, because it's got a heavily British crew and. So what do you think of the Batsuit for this film then?
I really like it. I always felt Keaton had the best suit, even though he could barely move in it.
Yes.
Because,
yeah.
It's dark. It looks well armored. The ears are the right length, because that's the issue I have with the Nolan films. They're a bit too small.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you can clearly see the bat symbol. So
yeah,
for me, it's the best bat suit.
And a lot of people joke about the yellow symbol like it's a target. It's basically a target for Batman, but it just adds a bit of colour to the costume. I think I prefer the slight variation from the second one, where it's got the sort of different armour on it. But no, it's a cool suit. It's a shame that, like you said, he can't really move very well in it. So there are lots of points in this where he just looks a bit goofy.
Yeah.
But it's it's a cool suit.
I forget Harvey Dent is in this film.
Yeah, it's weird. Can you imagine if Tim Burton had done the third one and Billy D. Williams had been Two-Face? It would have been cool.
Yeah, well, I heard for the third film, when he was signed on to do it, he only planned to have the Riddler in it, and bringing in Two-Face was Joel Schumacher's idea.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't...
I think Robin was as well.
Yeah, because Robin was storyboarded for this, wasn't he? There's on the Blu-ray, there's storyboards and stuff, which
for Batman Returns, they were gonna get Marlon Wayans to play Robin.
Oh God, I've heard those stories.
He got as far as a costume fitting, and then they decided to cut him out of the script.
Really? I didn't know he got as far as a costume fitting.
Yeah, apparently they even made an action figure of it.
Oh, I bet that goes for silly money on eBay. I can't imagine Robin in this universe, though. In the Tim Burton films specifically. I can't...
because this is very much, in terms of representing the comics, it's very much like the Bob Kane era where
yes.
Batman worked alone. He was very much a mysterious character.
He kills people.
Yep.
I think someone on the Blu-rays for this, actually, I think it might be on the documentary for Batman and Robin, he kind of says that these four films, the first one's very much the 30s era, the second one is the 40s, the third one is 50s, and Batman and Robin goes full 60s, which I can see. It's a cool...
I mean, if they were going for full 50s Batman comics, they would have actually gone to space, because the space race was at the height of its powers there.
Oh God,
and everyone was trying to copy it and cash in on it.
Surprised they didn't have a bat spaceship or something. What do you expect? A rocket ship with Batman out of the controls? Is that what John Pertwee says in it? A rocket ship with Batman at the controls?
Oh yeah.
Oh, John
Pertwee was considered for Alfred in this film.
Oh, that would have been fabulous. I mean, I
Yeah.
love Michael Goff as Alfred. He's so good.
Well, Sean Pertwee got to play him in Gotham.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen Gotham?
Yeah, I've seen all 5 seasons and I really, really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
just found it a shame the final season was cut short.
Yeah, I liked it for the most part. I think it had some issues, and a lot.
Particularly in season 1.
Yeah, and a lot of arcs were better than others, but it was one of those things where when it was good, it was really good.
When it let loose and just became insane, it was fantastic.
By the end, it was essentially a Batman show, wasn't it?
More or less, yeah.
Just without the name.
Yeah, I think for legal reasons they couldn't use the name Batman or Joker in it.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird.
Because by the end, Jeremiah was practically in full Joker makeup.
Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, that guy's Porkins from Star Wars.
I was about to say, is that Porkins? Because
I think it is.
You're full of shit, Knox. This is a very sort of different. Well, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I only know him from stuff like Star Wars and Porkins. He's in Indiana Jones as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's in Superman 4 as well, as one of the millionaires that Lex Luthor talks to.
Yeah.
So this is
I think
quite
that only came out 2 years before this.
Yeah, it did, but you wouldn't know it. Superman 4 looks like it was made 30 years before. But this is quite a different role for him, really. When you think, because he's kind of suddenly he's playing this rough sort of corrupt cop.
Also, Jack Nicholson got top billing in this film.
Yes, he did. And then that's kind of repeated for the 4th one, isn't it? When Arnold Schwarzenegger gets top billing, which I always kind of thought that summed up the 90s films, because the majority of the time they're more focused on the villains than they are Batman.
Yeah, because Burton sees him as a mysterious figure, whereas the Joker is a bright, loud, colourful clown who wants all the attention. Batman doesn't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's why when the Nolan films came out, people looked on the Burton films thinking, Batman doesn't really do a lot compared to the Nolan trilogy, but
yes,
I think you can enjoy both for what they are, because
Yeah.
you've got one whose origins is shrouded in mystery, and you've got one who's more or less in detail, and both are great for what they are.
Yeah, they're both different interpretations of the character, aren't they? I think this does this does have some mistakes in it, in terms of Batman, and I'll get onto it later when we actually see it, but him killing people is a big no-no, everyone kind of knows that. But for the aesthetic wise, these two Burton films are kind of perfect in terms of the design of Gotham, the design of Batman, how Batman's shot in them. But yeah, and really, I know when the Dark Knight trilogy was bigger in the sort of public consciousness, a lot of people looked back on this and went, "Oh, it's campy," and I'm like, "Really? This is campy?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
People were saying the Burton films, they're not realistic. Yeah, but they're not supposed to be realistic.
Yeah, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, but the problem with them is that they did cause this belief for a long time that dark and gritty immediately meant good. And it's like, not everything has to be realistic and dark and gritty, and these films are dark, but they've got a lot of comic book pulp to them.
Yeah, it's why have high hopes for the Batman. They keep a comic book tone where something like characters like Mr. Freeze or Killer Croc could exist in that universe, but
yes,
it's not too far.
Oh yeah, I cannot imagine Mr. Freeze turning up in the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
it just is.
the great thing about Alexander Knox and Vicky Vale is that they feel like the audience surrogates. Like, you're on this journey with them.
Yeah, they do. I'm always kind of, this film is called Batman, but really, the main characters are Vicky Vale, Knox, and the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really the main characters, because we're introduced to Bruce Wayne through these two at the party and everything later on in the film. This film's very quotable as well. I think as we go through this, you'll find just. I think Ghostbusters is the most quotable film ever made, but Jack Nicholson's Joker is the most quotable movie character ever.
I don't know. I kind of think Heath Ledger's Joker is a lot more quotable.
Yeah, I guess so. But this one is more sort of just because it's Jack Nicholson. It's more over the top, and you can sort of scream the lines, whereas Heath is more. And I find it when people compare Heath and Jack Nicholson as well, they're very, very different.
They are, yeah, because Jack Nicholson's a gangster and we know everything about him. Heath Ledger, like Batman in these films, we don't know much about him. We don't know anything about him.
Yes, yeah. It was basically confirmed that Heath Ledger's Joker was a war veteran, wasn't it? Sort of afterwards, it was confirmed that he was a war veteran and a disgruntled sort of, which is an interesting.
Yeah, because he mentions a truckload of soldiers blowing up.
Yes, yeah. And I guess now's the perfect time to just discuss Jack Nicholson. When you watch something like The Shining, you can totally see why, at the time, this was the perfect choice to play the Joker.
Yeah, I don't think. Robin Williams was considered for the Joker.
Yeah. I kind of. He was considered for the Riddler as well in the third one, wasn't he? At some point.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have seen him as the Riddler.
I would like to see him as the Riddler. I think the Joker, he'd be a bit too Robin
too
Williams.
Nice.
I was just about to say he kind of has the reputation of being sort of cuddly, really. As the Riddler, I think he could have been a bit sort of manic and. I mean, Wayne Manor as well. I mean, just looking at it's very. It comes straight. It's exactly what you think Wayne Manor would look like. Comes straight off the page immediately.
Definitely, yeah.
This exaggerated castle. This in the mid. It's seemingly in the middle of nowhere.
And there's no red telephone.
Yes. I watched. Here's Michael Gough as Alfred coming up. I watched an interview the other day about to promote this film. They got Adam West and a few of the cast of the '60s show on like a talk show, just to sort of talk about Batman's resurgence in pop culture because of the film and stuff. And they're all very much like, well, it's not accurate to the comic strip. We were doing an accurate version of Batman and stuff, and it's like It's different to different people, isn't it?
I think Michael Keaton may have been the first comic book casting where fans were quote unquote outraged.
Yeah, they got letters, didn't they? And they had to quickly release a trailer, like cobble together a trailer from just whatever footage they had, just to put fans at ease.
Because Heath Ledger got complaints saying like he can't be the Joker. Ben Affleck, of course, and trying to think of other examples.
Well, it is repeating now with Robert Pattinson, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Everyone's saying no, but he's in Twilight, so no, but he's going to be bad. I mean, even he hates Twilight, so I think we've got a chance.
Yeah, he's matured a lot as an actor since Twilight.
The thing is, he stepped away from mainstream films because he wanted to focus more on independent films.
Yeah.
And he says Batman is a mysterious character who hides in the shadows.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe that's what he's going through, so he relates to Batman like that.
Yeah, I look at him as well. You know, a lot of the fan art that was when he was cast, and I'm just like, yeah, that's Bruce Wayne. Like, he looks like a young Bruce Wayne in his early career as Batman. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I just hope they don't do another origin story, because even if you live under a rock, I think you know what Batman's origin is.
Yeah, I don't think they are. I think they're just going for a sort of, you know, early Batman story. Set
Yeah, it's
not
as well
long
known
after.
as Spider-Man or Superman's origin. You know, you don't need it.
Yeah. You know, people joke a lot about, oh, we don't need to see Uncle Ben murdered again, and I'm like, how many times have we seen Uncle Ben murdered? Twice, 3 times maybe, if you include
Just twice,
flashbacks. We've seen Batman's parents murdered so many times.
Yeah, you've got this film, Batman Begins,
Mm-hmm.
and Batman v Superman.
Yeah, they flash back to it in Batman Forever as well.
Yeah, they do.
If you're going live action generally, we see it in Gotham. You know,
Correct.
it's just like I don't know. It's
I've
kind of
not
insane.
seen the Adam West show, but did they ever mention that his parents got murdered, or do they just focus on the camp stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen every episode. I have the box set, but I've not seen every single episode. But I've seen a lot of it, and they barely ever mention Batman's origins. As far as the viewer's concerned, this is just a guy who enjoys dressing up in tights and going out fighting crime.
Mm-hmm.
There's no really no, and they do it in Joker as well. They do the.
Oh yeah, they do. I remember that.
With Joker, I'm like, I remember sitting in the cinema and thinking, that shot of when the clown goes into the alley, they should have cut away there.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been they should have followed the Waynes into the alley, then see the clown draw his gun and go into the alley, and then cut away.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need to show it. That, I think if they cut away, it would have been kind of perfect. Spoilers.
I know for the Batman, I think the villains are going to be Penguin and the Riddler.
Yes, because they've cast the Riddler, haven't they? They've cast what's his face, Paul something.
Yeah.
Paul Dano.
I wish they cast Robin Lord Taylor and Corey Michael Smith.
From Gotham, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the best versions of the Penguin and Riddler I've seen.
They are good. Especially is it Corey Michael Smith who plays the Riddler?
Mm-hmm.
Especially him. He's very, very good as the Riddler. I really love how Michael Keaton plays Bruce Wayne, though.
Me too. Yeah.
Like forgetting how he plays Batman, just how he plays Bruce Wayne is just this weird guy. Like, he's just a bit of an oddball. It's a really cool performance, actually.
Yeah, I'd say the problem is he spends so much time in isolation. You'd think he is You'd think, he must be Batman then.
Yes.
Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne. If you look at like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, he just acts like a drunken playboy who doesn't really care. So no one would suspect him as Batman.
Yeah, that's a good. I've never really thought about that, actually. Bale certainly plays Bruce Wayne as completely different, whereas Keaton is naturally sort of a weird, mysterious guy who. Yeah, it's a good point. Does he set those cameras up just for the party? Because I can't imagine there's much point in having cameras
Maybe, yeah.
in every, like, multiple cameras from different angles in every single room of your house when, you know. I'm pretty sure no one's breaking into that place. I don't think you really need them.
Have you got the 4K version of this film?
Yes, I have. I'm watching the old Blu-ray for this, though, just so we're in sync. But
yeah, because I don't have the 4K, but I've seen clips of it online, and It just looks like too different.
It's
Like they've gone too
weird.
far with the restoration and the colour transfers.
Yeah, the picture quality itself looks fantastic, like in terms of details in the image, but I don't know why they slathered it in teal.
Yeah,
It's a
because like I've seen clips of inside the factory here, and it just looks really, really cold.
yeah,
Like it lacks all the mood that this has.
yeah, I agree. The 4K transfer is odd. It's yeah, and they changed all the sound effects as well, which is a shame. The Atmos mix that they did for it is they've replaced all the gun sound effects with more modern sounding ones, which is like you're going down a slippery slope of just altering the entire film there. I definitely prefer the look of this version of the film.
Yeah.
It's odd because the sequels look amazing, like especially the Schumacher films. They didn't alter the colors really at all for them. So it's odd that they felt the need to for this. It's so Pat Hingle, I believe, is playing Gordon.
Yeah, he's not. He's really a nothing presence in the full films,
Yeah,
isn't he?
it's a
It's
shame.
such a shame because in the Dark Knight trilogy, the way Batman and James Gordon work off each other is great.
Absolutely, I think the Dark Knight trilogy is like it's kind of the perfect James Gordon. Like Gary Oldman is just amazing, and I kind of think I have a lot of nostalgia for Pat Hingle because he was kind of the Commissioner Gordon that I grew up on, but it's a shame he never does anything. His most proactive role is when he gets hypnotized in the fourth one by Poison Ivy. That's the most he ever does in
Yeah.
these. Yeah, because he ends up
Actually,
giving.
I'd argue the most he does is probably bring Robin to Wayne Manor and Batman Forever.
Oh yeah, that's a point. I forgot about that. Yeah. I really like how his purple suit, Jack Napier's purple suit, stands out from everything. It's a really because you can just see his trouser legs. It's a really sort of, and with the green as well, it's a nice sort of bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, because they do the whole Joker falling into a vat of chemicals in Gotham as well, because Jeremiah falls in, and I think by the end he's in a brain-dead coma.
Yes, he
and
is.
All his hair's fallen out.
Yeah, and he looks like he's rotted away. They this film certainly takes a lot of inspiration from The Killing Joke. In terms of just obviously the origin of the Joker, him falling into the vat of acid and everything, but even just the look of him, like the hat that he wears, it's all very sort of Killing Joke Joker.
Also, the name Jack Napier, I think, pops up a few times in the animated series. I think in some of the earlier episodes.
Yes.
They called the Joker Jack Napier.
Yeah, I think they do, and then, but I can't remember. Is that contradicted in Mask of the Phantasm? Because I watched.
It might be.
Yeah, I watched it recently, but I can't remember what they say. Because obviously he's one of the old gangsters that has some dealings with Andrea's father and that, but I'm not sure if they ever mention his name. See, in these shots, I think the cowl on needs to be tighter on Batman's face because it sort of looks like it's hanging off Keaton's chin.
Yeah, plus he can't turn his head.
He can't turn his head, no. I mean, I think we were talking about something else, but the shot a minute ago where he's tailing Jack Napier, and he just turns around. He looks like he's about to fall over. It looks very silly, but. I love that sound effect where he gets
Yeah,
shot in the
'cause
face.
you can hear the bullet go into his skin and the
Yeah,
blood
and
pour out.
and like the weird sort of like the weird sound effect when it hits the metal is really cool.
I mean, this getaway is pretty naff. Like, I
Yeah,
can clearly still see him.
yeah. He just sort of stands there and waits for the smoke to engulf him.
It's like that scene in The Simpsons when Mr. Burns tries to leave a meeting. He drops a smoke bomb, and they can still see him going out the door. He's like, "When hell freezes over, suckers!" Oh, whatever. Just take the money.
Oh man. So it's I can't remember what episode it is when he gets away with the Monopoly guy as well.
I can't remember that one either.
Yeah, I can't remember the context of it. He sort of the Monopoly guy turns up and he sort of zip lines away. Hello, my name is Mr. Schnrub, and I come from somewhere far away. Yes, that'll do.
I like the way Snurrup thinks.
That's the monorail one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander Knox kind of feels a bit like Jimmy Olsen from the Superman films.
Yeah, he's sort of like a bit more of a arsehole version of Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
That lovable.
He was never asked back.
Yeah, I always find it weird that he in the second film especially, he's just never really mentioned. Harvey Dent's not mentioned in that either. It's weird.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be in it, and his encounter with Catwoman at the end was supposed to burn half of his face, and obviously turning him into Two-Face. But they wanted Christopher Walken for some reason, and they thought, okay,
Max Shrek. Oh god, that's a very weird. I guess we'll get onto that when we talk about Returns, but it's a very odd sort of Bruce Wayne. Why he dressed up like Batman?
Your blood I gave at the office.
Never been in this room before in his own. I like that. Again, it's that sort of little details that Keaton sort of, and the way he plays that line as well. He just like he looks around for a while before he says it. It's
Because with Keaton's Batman, he became Batman because he needed it, whereas Christian Bale's Batman became Batman because the city needed it.
Yes. Yeah, and you can
it's
sort
a way
of
him stopping himself going insane.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that idea that some stories play with. If like he's using the excuse of the city needs this, but it's kind of like, is it the city or is it you that needs Batman?
Plus, I think he's the best Batman because he's naturally intimidating. Whereas Bale, he was just trying too hard.
Yeah, watching every time I watch Batman Begins, I'm always struck by how good Bale's voice is in that. Like it's kind.
Yeah, then it just goes out of control.
Yeah,
for the next two
I
films.
don't know why he sort of, and it escalates. Like even in The Dark Knight, it's more growly, but it's still it's still kind of restrained. And then we get to the third one. Where's the trigger? Where is it? It's like, kind of.
Those were street folks. They were real killers.
And but I kind of think like the bit in Batman Begins where he's talking with Rachel in the Batcave, and she's sort of out of it and stuff because of the drugs and stuff. And he's he's talking in his normal voice, but lower and sort of a little bit gravelly, and it's like, that's perfect. But
Yeah,
and then he
if you
just
kept
sort
it
of,
like that, it would have been great.
yeah. This set is super creepy. The doctor's office and everything.
Yeah.
It's like something out of a horror movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love all the sort of the rotting walls and the stuff coming down the walls. It's yeah.
This was parodied in Last Exit to Springfield.
I was gonna say Last Exit to Springfield. Yeah.
The mirror!
Lisa needs braces.
Imagine if the Joker had to have braces.
Oh God. Wow, Jared Leto with the grills.
Oh God. If I was to rank the Jokers, I'd probably go like Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix, and then Spacebar, times a million, Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I Jack Nicholson, the way he walks away there is properly like sort of skips away. I don't know. I don't think Jared Leto is.
I remember when Joker came out, there was all those memes about Joaquin Phoenix being a great Joker and Jared Leto being a stupid one. Like on Rock Bottom, the Facebook group, that scene in Homer at the Bat where Homer can't play because Darryl Strawberry's still here. Yeah, Jared Leto gets up to play the Joker, and I think Warner Brothers says, "Not so fast. The man who plays your position is still here." That's Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
I don't know. The thing is with Jared Leto, I can kind of see what he was going for, but it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And he was such a dick as well when Joker came out. Like, I don't know. Part of me wants to see all the deleted scenes and stuff, but
yeah, and also he claimed to have done method acting because he sent anal beads and dead rats to his cast members. The Joker wouldn't. Okay, maybe Adam West's Joker would do that.
Oh man.
I mean, the real Joker would blow up a building.
Yeah, if you.
It's funny.
Exactly, if you're gonna go that method with it. Oh, woman. Yeah, I've seen people in the past go like, well, by that logic, if you go, oh, he's so great because he did all this stuff behind the scenes, and it's like, well, by that logic, then, in a good romantic comedy, the two lead actors need to fall in love for real.
Precisely.
And it's like, no, it's called acting. It's I don't know. It's but because I've only ever seen the extended cut of Suicide Squad.
I saw it in cinemas and I regret that.
Yeah, from what I can tell, the extended cut is not very different at all. I know it's only like 10 minutes longer.
Well, we're finally getting the Snyder cut.
Yes, the good old Snyder cut. It's
Can we now get the Edgar Wright version of Ant-Man?
Oh, please, I would love that so much. The Snyder cut. The thing is, I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad that Zack Snyder is getting to finish off his vision. In the same way, I'm glad that Superman 2 has two versions.
Yeah.
But if it's not very good, if it ends up being a mess,
or pretentious drivel,
which is what Batman v Superman is,
yeah,
I just the violent reaction to that, because people are going to start going, give us the real Snyder cut, and they're never going to be happy.
If it ends with Steppenwolf saying his mother's name to Batman and they decide to stop fighting, that's when you know it's
the
Zack
problem.
Snyder's version.
Yeah. The problem with that scene is it could work super well, but it's just undermined. But, like, I get what they're going for. Like, it's supposed to be Batman realising that Superman is a person and does have humanity. But the problem is...
What if the Joker said, oh, Batman, are you going to kill me? I have a mother too,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But as well, the problem is, it's just like, well, you've just spent Bruce Wayne hanging upside down like a bat. Get it? But you've just spent the entire film. This Batman kills people left and right, absolutely mercilessly, and he continues to do so even after the Martha moment. And it's like, well,
yeah, what's changed about him?
what has changed about him? Yes, it's just complete. I don't know.
Well, I know there's been complaints towards Robert Pattinson because apparently he's chose not to work out. I'm wondering, did Michael Keaton ever work out, or Val Kilmer?
Who knows? I don't get it. And again, it comes from this mentality that, oh, Batman's got to be ripped. Batman's a loner badass who works out all day and kills people in the night. Oh, he's such a but it's like, I mean, look at Adam West. He's got a bit of a beer belly on him when he's playing. I don't get this whole thing of Batman needs to be ripped. It's just. I mean, even Christian Bale wasn't like jacked, was he? He was just kind of. He was in shape, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
I think Robert Pattinson enjoys messing with the fans, just from stuff that he said, and I really like that, to be honest. Like, it just seems like he really just messes with the fans.
Yeah. What do you think to Vicky Vale as a love interest?
She's okay. I think.
Like her.
Yeah, I think. She gives a good performance. I don't think it's anything. I don't think she's bad. I think
people say she screams too much.
Does she? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one.
She's as bad as, say, Mary Jane from the Spider-Man films.
Yeah, there is one bit. Maybe I can agree with that. When the Joker leaves her the present and the flowers pop up, and she does this really awful and then faints. It's really bad. But apart from that, I think she just kind of blends into the background really, because it's just, you've got this wacky Joker and stuff. It's like she just sort of is there.
Yeah, she just seems like the most normal out of everyone in this film.
So, so here we have Jack Nicholson with flesh-coloured paint on his face, as the character has flesh-coloured paint to cover up the whiteness.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think to that idea? Because it's always kind of confused me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean...
It's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, because obviously the Joker's making it clear here he's taking over everything. Would he
Yes.
really care what he looks like?
For the longest time, as a kid, I always thought that his skin wasn't bleached and that he just put the white makeup on because he was insane. But it's actually the other way round. So it's weird, and like, why would he bother to dye his hair as well from green to?
Yeah, true.
Because you can see like his hair is showing. Yeah, I don't know why he bothered to dye it. It's very odd, and he does it in the Prince scene as well. When he does it in the museum. Now get out of here.
I'm glad you're dead.
Now, Bob, you are my number one guy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tracy Walter plays Bob, and they were best friends in real life.
Good old Bob.
He even got an action figure.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah, this was the era. Everyone always jokes of Batman getting these weird costume designs as figures, like deep dive Batman, and it's I don't know. It's just toys, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got so many Spider-Man toys from when I was younger, where they gave him like motorbikes to ride, and they dress him in these like motorcycle outfits, and it's like,
why would Spider-Man need a motorbike?
well,
He'd use web
a lot
to
of
swing
the
around the city. He's Spider-Man.
exactly one of the recent cartoons loads him up with gadgets, and he's got like a spider bike and a spider dune buggy and stuff. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's like giving Superman an airplane or Yoda a lightsaber.
Yes.
They don't need one.
Jack Nicholson looks like he's having so much fun in this.
Yeah, he says this is one of his favourite roles.
He looks like he's just having an absolute blast.
Mm-hmm.
You are a vicious bastard. That prop as well is properly like, and it's a very silly concept. The the idea that you can electrocute someone and it melts all their skin off and flesh and they're just bones, but it's a comic book movie. Like who?
Yeah, exactly.
This doesn't need to be hyper accurate, like realistic and stuff. It's a silly comic book.
Also, Wayne Manor has a weird continuity, at least in the first two films, because here it looks like it's just out in the country, not too far from, say, the city centre.
Yes.
But by Batman Returns, it looks like it's a lonely old mansion on a hillside, a bit like in Edward Scissorhands.
That's a good point. Yes, because it is on a hill, isn't it? Because they have the bit where they shine the bat symbol from the spires and stuff. That's a good point. And then by the Schumacher films, we might have missed it, but does it have like the big horses outside, like the horse statues outside, or?
It does, yeah, the big horses.
Oh, okay. So if anything, the Schumacher films keep more continuity with this than in terms of Wayne Manor.
Because the weird thing about these four films is that they're kind of like the Bond films. They're very standalone.
They are, yes. Returns is maybe Batman and Robin. No, I think Returns is probably the one that's most sort of part of a franchise because they mention Vicky Vale, the Penguin.
Yeah.
The Penguin sort of mentioned there are a few references of crazed clowns. Obviously talking about the joke, like I think the Penguin sort of goes, "What kind of a world do we live in where crazed clowns?" It's that one feels more connected than the other ones. Forever is obviously its own beast, and then Batman and Robin, stylistically, it's very much a sequel to the third one, but it doesn't really reference anything. There are a few. The big links between them all is obviously Pat Hingle as Gordon and Michael Gough as Alfred, but
yeah,
even then, it's not really.
Plus, the animated series took so many design elements from this. This is the Gotham it very much looks like. People in hats and trench coats.
Yeah, I mean, the animated series, a lot of it feels like those typical cartoons spinning off hyper-successful films that you would get in the 80s and 90s. So, like, they did Godzilla, the animated series and stuff. It feels like it kind of started life off as that and then transitioned into its own thing as it went. And as it got...
Yeah, because the Penguin, in at least the first season, looks very much like the Danny DeVito Penguin from Returns, but
yes.
By the new Batman Adventures, he looks more like his comic book counterpart.
Yeah, I think as they got into the development of the animated series, it definitely became its own thing, but like... stylistically, with all the with everything in the city and using the Danny Elfman theme and the music and everything, it's it definitely feels like, oh yeah, this is just a cartoon spinning off from the film, like a lot of films had in the 80s and 90s. You don't really see that anymore, do you? It's like...
No, you don't.
It's like video.
Plus, you don't get many video games based on films.
I was just about to say that.
these
Yeah, like
days.
the movie tie-ins nowadays, they just release like a mobile app. But
True.
it's a blessing and a curse that, because a lot of movie tie-ins were actually really cool, and then a lot of them were awful.
Yeah, like, given how successful the MCU has been, there's been, like, no video game based on any of those films.
The MCU, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah,
Universe, yeah.
yeah. They did for Phase 1. They did all of the films except for the Avengers as video games.
Okay.
Yeah, they did, but the majority of them weren't very good. I played the Iron Man game and the Hulk game and the Captain America game. The Captain America one was really good because it was basically like an Arkham Asylum clone. Like, you were Captain America in one castle and you had to sort of just very much wander around, beat up bad guys, throw your shield, blah blah blah. But the other ones were very sort of cheap and rushed out for the shelves. So we kind of just talked over that there, but the seeing Bruce Wayne get shot in the arm is
Yeah, he doesn't flinch at all. He's
no.
just like, what?
So presumably he's got body armor underneath his clothes then.
Yeah, probably.
But is that his bat suit? Because surely if you wore
Maybe.
a suit over a bat suit, one, you'd look bulky as hell, and two, you'd be boiling. You'd be so hot.
It's not like Spider-Man or Superman where if the material's quite thin, they can just slip easy out of it.
I'm waiting, because I've got the subtitles on for this. I'm waiting till we get to the I'm of a mind to make smoogie line. What does that mean? What does he say there?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually considered for Batman and Bruce Wayne as well.
Oh, can you imagine? I love Arnold Schwarzenegger's a bits, but
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
You killed my parents. I made you. You made me.
Up and at them. Up and at 'em. Up and at them.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
The goggles do nothing. Oh, that might be the Simpsons episode I've watched the most, because every time I tune into Channel 4, it seems to be that one that's on, the Radioactive Man one. For some reason, that's their the one that they show the most.
Plus, it's more or less parodying the production decisions made for these films, I'd say.
Yeah.
It came out at, 95, and
Yeah.
they had executives saying, we don't want it to be campy, we want it as far away from the 60s campy version as possible.
Yeah. And then in I think it's the Mr. Plow episode, when Adam West turns up, and and Bart and Lisa are all confused.
Nowadays, you'd do that joke with Michael Keaton.
With Michael Keaton, yeah.
Hey kids, Batman! That's not the real Batman. Here I am. Here's a picture of me with Vicky Vale. Who's Vicky Vale?
Oh, yes, yeah, that's exactly.
New Batman movies. For me, the only Anne Hathaway. For me, the only real Catwoman was Michelle Pfeiffer. And how come Batman doesn't dance anymore? Remember the Prince songs?
And then Homer and the kids just look terrified.
That on Rock Bottom.
A Spider-Man version, did you say?
Yeah, they were like, hey kids! They were like, oh, Tobey Maguire! Hey kids, Spider-Man! And he's like, how come Spider-Man doesn't dance anymore? Remember Spider-Man 3?
Oh, man. So, we're getting into this little subplot of the Joker falling for Vicky Vale. I'm not sure, because it's not really... I feel like he's just... I don't know what they were doing, because they kind of set it up as almost like a love triangle.
A little bit, yeah.
But obviously very one-sided, because she's not going to fall for
a psychotic clown.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm of a mind to make some mookie. What does that mean?
I don't
It's
know.
a bizarre line. It would not surprise me if that was an ad-lib by Jack Nicholson and no one just knew what he was on about. Just go with it. It's Jack. That's the point. I always forget that the chemical plant in this is called Axis Chemicals. I'm so used to Ace Chemicals from pretty much every other version ever.
Yeah, because I think it appears in Arkham City.
Yeah, and it's Ace Chemicals in that. It's weird that they renamed it for Axis for this. So, here in a minute, we get a cameo from Trinity Wells herself from Doctor Who. She's in this scene.
Oh, is she? I did
Yeah,
not know
if
that.
you look at the one of the technicians behind the scenes, she is she's here. I think Lachelle Carl is her name. Maya Borg. It's an odd name. There she is.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, she just sort of...
I see it.
And the voice as well, like you just instantly recognise it as her. Oh god, this commercial. I love this. Smilex. Brandex.
I noticed the Joker on the animated series would make a lot of TV appearances.
Yeah.
Like with the, I think the fish episode and the Christmas episode, he'd appear on TV.
Yes.
But be like in character as an advertiser.
Oh yeah, the laughing fish. That's one of my favourite episodes actually.
Yeah. Also, before Harley Quinn, there was Bob the Goon.
Yes, Bob the Goon. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Bob the Goon. Can you imagine? Have you seen Birds of Prey?
I have. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I just kind of found it a bit meh.
No, I really liked it. I think just because I don't know actually. I just really enjoyed it for some reason, and it's I think just because I'm really enjoying DC being more colourful.
Yeah, I think the whole standalone. I think doing standalone films is probably the best way for them to go forward.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've really liked Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been good, and the Batman looks to be a really good standalone film as well.
For me, Aquaman was sort of. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
I like it. It's dumb, mindless fun. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's dumb fun. For me, it just sort of goes on too long.
Yeah, it is a bit too long.
Because it's like it's 2.5 hours, isn't it? It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but really, I don't think since Justice League, I don't think they've had a real bad one.
No, they've not had a disaster like Suicide Squad.
It's kind of insane how similar Justice League is to Superman 2, though. Like in terms of the situation, with directors shooting cutaways being inserted into existing scenes that were shot a while ago. It's kind of nuts how history's repeated itself with that.
I mean, I've not seen Justice League, to be honest, but I've seen clips of it, and the colour filter just looks really awful.
Have you not seen it?
No, I
Oh,
didn't see it
why?
when it came out because I wasn't bothered about it, and I've just not
Yeah.
had. I've just not really bought it on Blu-ray or seen it. I've just
Well,
not been bothered because I've not heard good things.
yeah, it's I wouldn't recommend. There are bits of it I really enjoy, but I have a feeling when the Snyder cut comes out, I'm going to be like, yeah, I preferred the theatrical cut, and it's probably going to annoy a lot of people because the bits I enjoy are the bits that Joss Whedon added for comedy.
Ah, okay.
So, like, there's a bit at the end where I assume you don't care about spoilers for it or anything.
Nah.
Yeah, there's a bit at the end where Superman re-enters the battle after being gone, and you hear John Williams' Superman theme, and he goes, yeah, and he smiles and he goes, I believe in truth, and I'm also a big fan of justice. And it's like, it's proper classic Superman, but I get the feeling that a lot of Zack Snyder fans hate that. So...
I'm surprised he didn't say, the only way for me to solve this crisis is to become Superman 4.
But yeah, there's and as like in rewatching Superman 2 recently, you really can tell when Lester footage is inserted into Donner footage, and Justice League is like that. Like, you can absolutely 100% see where it's Zack Snyder and then it suddenly cuts to Joss Whedon and then back to Snyder again. It's a mess.
Because I do like the theatrical cut of Superman 2, it's just there's weird things like Superman throwing the cellophane S.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that?
It doesn't do anything either. It just sort of it encases Non and then just disappears.
It just goes, and then gets back up again.
But the thing is, I think the Donner cut has a lot of problems as well. Like, I'm one of those people, and rewatching, because when I did all the Superman films, I watched both versions back to back because they're so different. I kind of think they're both about on par with each other, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, because there's not one version that I can definitively watch. It's not something like, say, Lord of the Rings, where I always go to the extended cut.
Yeah.
Here, it depends what kind of mood I'm in. I'm like, Lester or Donner today?
Yeah. No, I completely agree, because I actually think a lot of the stuff that Lester reshot was better, and I know that's probably sacrilege, but just because the actors would develop their performances more, and I just get annoyed at the Donner cut with little things like the sound mixing and stuff, and how just rough it is, and if it had been...
because Donner, what was I going to say? Like, I prefer the opening and closing to Richard Lester's version, because you've got like the recap with the music,
Yes.
like in the Spider-Man films.
I do as well.
And as silly as it is, I actually do like the memory erasing kiss that
Yeah.
Clark Kent gives Lois Lane.
I much prefer that to the ending of the Donner cut. And yeah,
Because they just copy the first one.
yeah, and I know they had to, because that was kind of, for various reasons, that was how it was originally intended to end, but the first one was meant to have a different ending as well, so yeah, it's whatever. But the theatrical cut's ending with the scene between Chris Reeve and Margot Kidder where she like breaks down in front of him in the office and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene so much. It's so brilliant performed. It's just great. But yeah, and then there are things, you know, the Donner cut, I prefer Marlon Brando being in it and stuff. So if there was a hybrid version, you know, give me that. But so the Prince.
I mean, it's weird comparing the first 4 Superman films and these 4 because they're kind of similar to each other. You've got the first one that's a great success.
Yeah.
The second one, which is also a success, but then by the third one, there's a change of director that goes in a lighter direction, and then the 4th film is just a total disaster.
Yeah, it's similar actually, and I've always said the Spider-Man trilogy, something Oliver Harper pointed out ages ago, but it's the Spider-Man trilogy and the first 2 Superman films follow the same thing. That you've got the origin story.
Spider-Man 3 and Superman 3, the hero goes evil.
Yep, and in Spider-Man 2 and Superman 2, that he loses his powers. And in the first one, obviously, it's an origin, but yeah. So we just had the big Prince musical number.
I mean, I don't mind it because, you know, when he's defacing the paintings, the thing about this Joker is that he is anarchy and chaos, because when Vicky Vale asks him, "What do you want?" he literally could have answered with anything.
Yes.
Whereas, Heath Ledger's Joker wants to spread anarchy and chaos.
Yeah.
He's Nicholson's Joker is the representation of chaos.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love the scene, absolutely, and it's just so much fun. Like it's fun chaos, you know. In terms of actually the Prince soundtrack being in it, I think it dates the film a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely 80s.
Yeah, and considering the rest of the film is so timeless, like it makes an effort to not place itself. It's bizarre that it sort of chooses to do that.
I was reading the 1001 Movies book that you must see before you die.
Oh yeah.
This and The Dark Knight were the only two Batman films to make it in there.
This is in there. I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised about
I
that.
don't think Batman Begins or Dark Knight Rises was in there, because I'm surprised they didn't put in the whole Nolan trilogy in there.
There's a lot in that book, because I've got that book. I've got the version with Ryan Gosling on the front, the updated version.
Well, I read one version I read that pissed me off was they put in The Greatest Showman and Paranormal Activity in there.
Oh, really?
No Green Mile or Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Really?
There's so much in there that it's like, really, you put that in, but this isn't in there? It's a cool book, because I like flicking through it and go, oh, that looks like a cool film. I'll search that out. But so it's worth noting by this point as well, by this art scene, we're about to see Batman again. But he's been off screen since the Ace Chemicals thing, or the Axis Chemicals, sorry. So that was about half hour ago, 40 minutes ago in the film.
It was,
So he's been off screen for a long time. The Joker has really taken over the film by this point. And
I think when he does appear, they really make it worth it.
Yeah. You're insane. I thought it was a Pisces. I love that line.
I think Vale's a bit stupid to actually fall for the whole "I'm melting."
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. It's like, oh, really? Are you sorry? It's just to kill you. Yeah, but this bit where he turns around and goes boo, it's proper like scary. I think it's quite, and the way his the makeup sort of melted across his face, it's cool. I always wondered if the wire that you could see as Batman's descending was a mistake, but I don't think it is.
I've played Arkham City and Arkham Knight, and I completed the main story in Arkham City, started doing the side missions, where you could, and then you unlocked all the bat suits. I'm surprised they didn't have this variant in it.
What, the 89 suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had it in Night, didn't they? They have it as DLC in Arkham Knight. It's
Did they have the Schumacher suit in Arkham Knight?
Oh, I wish. Well, when we get onto the Schumacher films, I'm gonna be going to bat for them a lot when we get to those. Like, they're not great, but I quite enjoy both of them, and especially Forever.
Yeah.
Especially Forever. Batman and Robin, it knows what it is and it goes with it. And I'll watch that over Batman v Superman any day, because at least I'm having fun.
Yeah, me
at
too.
least it makes me smile when Batman and Robin sort of join forces at the end with Batgirl and stuff. At least I'm going, oh, this is fun. So this Batmobile
Also,
then.
it's the first, this Batmobile I think is the best one.
It's very cool.
We've ever had.
Yeah, I like the fins on it. I like the bat-shaped sort of. The leaked pictures of the new Batman. Well, it wasn't leaked. It was Matt Reeves actually tweeted it. The new one, I really like as well, because it's not a tank.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like a penis like in the Schumacher films.
Yeah, the Schumacher film. Yeah, it's got the jet end, the turbine at the front.
Yeah, and I think in Batman and Robin it has a disco ball at the front.
Yes, it does.
Disco
It's
ball.
in the
That's
front.
so weird.
It is bizarre. But yeah, I've got a big model of the animated series Batmobile behind me, and as cool as that looks, I kind of think it looks a bit impractical. Not gonna lie, because it's so long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a really long one.
It's so long, and I feel like he's gonna be turning corners. He's gonna be hitting everything. See, this bit is what I mean when he looks goofy. Like when he grabs his belt, like the face he makes. And he's just sort of fiddling with his bat. It looks proper silly.
Yep.
But also, this is kind of more apparent in the second one, but this Batman kind of quips in the suit sometimes. And,
yeah, he
does. I'm thinking of the second one where the Batmobile gets taken over and he goes, "Oh, now I'm a little worried." And he's kind of like... Yeah. You don't often see Batman quipping,
okay, I know
really.
he's got a bat suit on and it's technically body armor, but the way those guns were really close to his chest.
Point blank range, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do love that the Joker insignia that all the goons have got is essentially the comic book Joker. Like it looks nothing like Jack Nicholson,
yeah.
And I love that.
When the Arkham games, Two-Face's thugs wear half black and half white costumes.
Yeah, I love that as well. Yeah, as opposed to in Batman Forever, they just sort of wear these black masks with swirly red patterns on them.
Yeah.
Actually, there are some thugs that have the half red, half black, don't they? I don't know. We'll have to see when I watch it again.
As when it returns, the Penguin's goons are circus clowns.
Mm.
You think, well, wouldn't you have used circus clowns for this?
You would think. There's an Indiana Jones moment of him just kicking the guy in a minute. I always thought that the guy with the knives looks like Tim Burton.
He does a bit.
He looks. Do you know what I mean? And especially around this time, Tim Burton, like before he started wearing like the sunglasses and everything.
Oh, I love that. He's like, come here. Bob's just like, nope. That's what I love about his Batman. You know, the fight's already over before it started.
Yes. Is that CG? Is that early CGI for the Batmobile shields, or is it sort of stop motion? I can't tell.
It might be, yeah.
Because it's entirely possible that it was an early form of CGI. Because we had Labyrinth a few years earlier with the CGI owl in the opening titles and everything. I'm not sure. That's a cool line. You weigh a little more than 108.
I don't think Michael Keaton ever drove the Batmobile.
That doesn't surprise me.
I remember the crew built it.
I love this scene approaching the Batcave because it's and the choir in the background and everything, and you just see these headlights in the distance in the tree. It's a brilliant scene. I love it.
We feel like we're in Vicky Vale's shoes. It's like all the insanity that's just happened. We're allowed to sit and breathe.
But it is also an important moment that we kind of get to be with Batman as he drives the Batmobile. Like we're with him, and it's that kind of thing I miss when superhero movies did that. Like when Superman flies in Superman the movie, we're with him as he flies, and we're taking the time to sort of be with him and what he's feeling. And when Spider-Man first swings in Raimi's films, we feel every little emotion that he's feeling. Even to the point in the second one where he leaves the where he's just found out MJ is getting married to John Jameson, and suddenly the swinging is super sad. Like it's suddenly really sad, and like we feel that for Peter and everything. And I miss that nowadays. You don't often get chances just to be with the superhero doing what they do. I think the closest thing we've had to that is Shazam, really, because
Mhm.
we're just sort of we're treated to a lot of scenes of him just messing around with his powers. It's probably good. We haven't mentioned Danny Elfman's score yet for this,
Yeah,
really.
for me, it's the theme for Batman.
It's very good, yeah. I mean, I would agree. Actually, it's certainly when I think Batman, I do think but the score as well. It's so distinct and comic booky. Like it almost doesn't even feel like a score. And I think because I grew up playing the Lego Batman games, and they use Danny Elfman's music in that, so I'm so used to hearing like this is the Batcave music that you hear when you walk around the Batcave and stuff. I've just noticed before Batman sat down, he's got like mouthwash on the desk. Obviously, he's testing it for the chemicals, but it just looks like Batman's just got loads of mouthwash on his desk. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah.
Like it was a split second just as he went to sit down in the chair. He's got like a toothbrush and mouthwash in the. That's funny. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I love how he's lit in these scenes as well, where you just see the eyes.
Mhm.
He's quite threatening, like even to Vicky Vale. Like, he's approaching her here very. He's quite a threatening sort of presence.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. So he just sedates her. So, have you seen the Adam West movie?
I've seen the Adam West movie. Yeah, I've just
Yeah,
not seen the TV series yet.
reminds me of in that the Bat Gas with Commodore Schmidlap. Well, the Penguin dressed as Commodore Schmidlap.
And the shark repellent spray.
What's that? Bat Gas? And then they wake up the Penguin dressed as Commodore Schmidlap, and he just wakes up and goes, rah, rah, rah. Oh, it's you.
Just reminds me of the Radioactive Man episode. Billowing backpacks, radioactive man. It's the worst villain of them all. The Scoutmaster. Go get him, Scout. Don't be afraid to use your nails, Bryce.
Oh god, I forgot about that. I love the detail of the news anchors just getting more and more haggard looking as they can't use any beauty products.
That's true.
It's a nice detail.
He shoots a lot of TVs in this.
He does. Where's he get the money to? I guess he just steals them.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of exploding TVs, that was the original idea for Two-Face in the Adam West series was to have him be a TV reporter, where a TV blew up in his face and half his face was burnt off.
That's quite good, actually. I need to, because I've got the animated film Batman vs Two-Face, which was set in the Adam West universe, and they've got William.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've got William Shatner voicing Two-Face in that. I need to watch that. Because they did two, didn't they? They did two animated 60s Batman things before Adam West died.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I think instead of Two-Face in the series, they did False-Face, which was a completely different character. I think their reasoning at the time was just because Two-Face would have been a bit too frightening for the kids, which I can see. But it would have been interesting to see what they did with Two-Face. remember this whole scene on the 4K version does look pretty much identical to how it does here. So it's very inconsistent because some scenes are so sort of slathered in teal, and then you get to something like this where it looks the same pretty much. So it's a weird.
When he speaks with the Joker, he says, "Let's get nuts." That's referenced in Lego Batman.
Yes, he's got the Let's Get Nuts mix.
Mode for when he's about to fight crime, and one of them is Let's Get Nuts.
Yeah, it's a mixtape. He's got the Let's Get Nuts mix. Oh, I love that film. Because again, I watched it recently. There's so many references in that you miss.
I think when the Joker, starts his plan at the beginning, I think one of the pilots says, "So is this going to be bigger than the one with the balloon?"
Yes.
The one with the 2 ferries.
Yes. Yep. And it's so much stuff like even in the background. There's so many references to pretty much any version of Batman. Like when Batman is handing out his merch, a lot of the logos on the merch are the logos for the 2004 cartoon, which is. Did you ever watch any of that? The 2004 The Batman cartoon, it was called.
No, I never did.
It was pretty good. I watched the bits of it as a kid, and I kind of liked how it was very different. But they did a great 3-parter with Clayface, and it's really tragic actually. For a kid's cartoon, it ends in like this somber sort of scene in a shower where Clayface tries to sort of stay together and stuff. It was a pretty good show. It's worth looking at. It kind of gets overshadowed by the animated series, but it was. They did do a film of that though. It was Batman versus Dracula, and
versus Dracula.
Yeah, they had the Joker being like turned into and like possessed by Dracula, so that's odd. But the series itself was pretty good. I'd still be really terrified though, even putting a tray like that under my shirt. You know, who's to say who's to say that exact spot? Because that tray's not big. Who's to say that is the spot he's gonna shoot?
What if he aims for the head?
Exactly. Or like just miss the tray. It's like.
What should have happened is when he shoots him, he wakes up and says, "You should have gone for the head."
And then just snaps his fingers and suddenly the Joker just disappears. It's revealed Batman is Thanos.
I don't feel so good.
The hair dye is a bit sort of patchy in this scene. You can kind of see it's not.
You can see the brown coming from.
Yeah, it's not as clean as it is in other scenes. I do like the idea that the prosthetics of him having a permanent grin, though.
Yeah,
I think that's a
really
cool
idea.
Because it looks like comic book Joker as well. Like in every single panel in the comics, the Joker's just continuously smiling. It's
Whereas with Heath Ledger's Joker, it's scars that look like a big smile.
Yeah, and that works for that universe, I think. Then you just get to Jared Leto, and there's basically no lipstick or anything. It's just
bit of lip gloss.
A bit of lip gloss, yeah. It is weird how they have him the tattoos all over his body that are just literally ha 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 ha. Like, can you imagine him going into a tattoo shop, putting all that and writing "damaged" on his forehead? It's so silly.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight on his chest? Get nuts! Come on, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I wonder, is that the moment where Bruce realises this is the guy who killed his parents?
I kind of think so, because he sort of breaks out of character, doesn't he? Out of the manic let's get nuts thing, he sort of breaks out of that, which is cool. Never open another man's rhubarb. But we were talking about something else earlier when it happened, but I don't know if you've ever noticed that you can actually see young Jack Napier when Bruce Wayne's going through all the files of Jack Napier.
You can, yeah, you can see his mugshot.
And he covers it up on accident, which is really cool.
There was quote unquote controversy of the Joker being the one to kill Batman's parents.
Yeah, it's not an idea that I'm in love with, but I don't like. There are other mistakes in this film that I think are more objectionable than that.
Yeah, I actually like it because, you know, it's the idea of these guys are freaks and they made each other.
Yeah, it's...
The Joker made Batman and Batman made the Joker.
Oh, here's the bit I was talking about earlier. The
Yeah, it's just... That's
it's
something
so
like Cesar
bad.
Romero's Joker would do.
Yeah, not even that, just the way she plays it. Like, she just looks at it and falls over. It's very bad. But yeah, I think it's a cool idea for this film, but I wouldn't like that all the time, because I think it kind of takes away from... Because Batman is kind of, as a character, him wanting to make sure that no kid ever has to go through what he did.
Yeah.
I think...
Mm-hmm. That's why I hate that scene in Suicide Squad when he goes to taking Deadshot in front of his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, Batman would never do that.
Yeah, and it's why in this, when he goes up to the Joker and goes, "I'm gonna kill you," it's like, I really, really don't like that, because it's... I
mean, there's a scene, you know, similar to the one in Suicide Squad where he, you know, arrests a father in front of their kid. It's in the new Batman Adventures where Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing, and it's one of the reasons he falls out with him, because, you know, he takes in like a mobster and it's in front of his family, and Dick Grayson's like, "Come on, Batman, not here, not in front of his kids."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if you are going to do it, but I'd say have the characters call out on it and saying Batman broke one of his own rules.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because there's definitely a difference between that and him just straight up murdering someone. And I just... Having the Joker... Because by that logic, I guess, would he still need to... Because we were talking about earlier the idea of he needs to be Batman for himself to stop himself from going insane. Would that idea still hold up when the Joker dies at the end? Because surely that's him sort of... He's had his revenge.
He does say to Dick Grayson, "You may think killing solves it, but it doesn't take the pain away," something like that.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Really, any Batman that kills is just very, very, very misguided. And I know people will be like, "Oh, but he killed in the original comics," and it's like, yeah, but I don't know. Batman has evolved into a more interesting character than that.
Yeah.
Him not killing is him turning his pain into something good. Mm-hmm. Whereas, yeah, I don't know. I always find it silly here how they are all looking to the side.
Yeah, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's like he
Unless
pushes...
someone put a TV there for them to watch.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you look at the people on the far right, they are kind of looking into the corner rather than the side. Almost like there's a TV out of shot that we can't see. But it is quite silly. But I love it anyway, because it just adds to that sort of comic book thing.
Apparently Jack Nicholson got $60 million for this.
Oh, I'm not surprised. He
Yeah. And a bit of the share of the box office as well.
Bloody hell! It's so, because the marketing for this was insane, wasn't it? Like, it was everywhere. It was.
Yeah, summer of '89. I mean, I wasn't there, but you could
Yeah.
not escape it. Apparently,
Yes, yeah.
there was even Batman cereal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and I've got an edition of the film called the Diamond Lux edition, which has got a documentary in it about it's called The Birth of the Modern Blockbuster, and it goes into like how this kind of influenced the whole marketing playing a massive role into a movie's life.
It did play. It did influence, I think, a lot of comic books of the noughties.
Oh yeah,
Like controversial casting choice.
yeah.
Changing the hero's origin ever so slightly. Having the main villain die at the end, because say if you look at all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, they all end up dead.
They all end up dead at the yeah. I mean, it's
Whereas if you compare that to something like the MCU, that most of the time they're not killed, they're just arrested.
Yes,
something like that,
or they're taken away to another place, like in the case of Red Skull. Yeah, this is very influential. Full disclosure, this might be my favourite version of the Wayne's deaths on film. That's been adapted into film. I just think it's like the way the sound kind of drowns out and stuff, and you get
it's an actual dream. Like.
Yeah, and you get like the medium shot of the other goon, and he just looks, and it's very well done. I also
like the Gotham one as well, just because of Bruce Wayne's scream.
Yeah,
at the end of it.
I like the Gotham one. I have a soft spot for the brief bits we see in Batman Forever as well, because the way the gunman just slinks back into the shadows, and the shadows sort of go over him. I really don't think, apart from Batman v Superman, I don't think there's been, and that's not me going, oh, Batman v Superman. No, Batman v Superman, it makes Thomas Wayne out to be the aggressor.
Yeah, because even before I think anyone pulls a gun, he goes for them.
Yeah, no. As soon as Joe Chill walks into that alley, Thomas Wayne makes a fist and goes for him, and it's like, well, you've just made Thomas Wayne the aggressor. You've just started out Batman's story with violence, which is completely wrong. Do you see what I mean about like the silence when the gun goes? Oh, it's just brilliant, and like the Dutch angles and everything.
Those words and that smile would be with him forever.
Yeah, it's really good. Thing is, this young actor looks more like the Joker than Jack Nicholson does. Like, just natural his features.
Yeah,
like
he does.
when he grins there. I wonder what this actor went on to do, because I've not seen him in anything else.
Neither have I. Oh, another controversial moment. Alfred lets Vicky Vale into the back.
Yeah, this is kind of what I mean. Like, the script is quite contrived in a lot of areas, but it's one of those things that I can brush over. I
can brush over it because we've seen Bruce Wayne be a recluse, be off his nut really, and Alfred doing this. It's just a way of helping him really. Share it with someone.
Yes, I do like the joke they make about it in the second one.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, you let Vicky Vale in the Batcave. I'm sitting there working, and I'm just,
there.
Hi, Vic.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there, and she's there.
that I do like that joke. But yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm kind of. It's a contrivance, but it's a contrivance that happens and goes away quite quickly. I mean, to be honest, you are talking to the person who genuinely really loves Spider-Man 3, which is a film full of contrivances. So if I can get over all of that, I can let go of this. I can let go of this. It is weird to me.
Also, a bit like the Bond films, Batman has a different love interest in every film.
Yes, yeah. That's a point, actually, yeah. I mean, this is I always think, because the Bond films and the Superman films share a lot in common in terms of visual effects teams and some of the writers and where they filmed it. So in a way,
because Tom, I can't say his last name, but I think he wrote the first Superman film.
Yes.
Construct it. He wrote Live and Let Die as well.
Yeah, Tom Mankiewicz is his name.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's and as we were talking about earlier, that this shares some similarities with like the mostly British crew and where they filmed it and everything. I am always fascinated by the history like Britain has in these classic films. Like you read stories like on Aliens, for example. I don't know if you've ever heard this. Apparently the crew of Aliens were really like snobby towards James Cameron, like the British crew.
He was really young and didn't have much filmography behind him.
And the British
Alien 3, the production history behind that is just really fascinating.
Yeah, I love.
You could make a film about the production of Alien 3.
I love the documentary on Alien 3 on the Blu-ray set though. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's such a brilliant documentary on that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, I've got the anthology set.
Yeah,
the documentaries are fascinating.
It's amazing, and like all the footage of David Fincher. Just on the set, there's that clip of him just grabbing a microphone and going, "It's amazing to me how Fox are one of the biggest studios on the planet because they're all a bunch of morons." And it's like, wow.
He refuses to talk about that, doesn't Alien 3? Doesn't he?
Does, yes. That's another third installment of a franchise that I really like. Actually, I mean, I watched the Alien films for the first time last year. I'd never seen them before, and I really enjoyed Alien 3, actually. I thought it was a pretty good conclusion to the story.
Yeah, me too.
That should have been the end. They shouldn't have done Resurrection. Resurrection to me just felt like an afterthought. Alien 3 was a pretty good continuation, I think. So here we have the Party Man sequence.
Isn't this a different
no,
song?
not Party Man, sorry.
What's
this? Is it called Trust? I don't know.
I don't know.
But either way, it's another Prince song. And the way he dances to it and everything, it's such a fun scene, even though you know that these people are about to get murdered.
Plus, I realised the first instalment of Nolan and Burton films, Batman has to stop a toxic gas being released.
Yes, he does.
You've got... Is it the laughing gas or something?
Yeah, it's like Joker laughing gas, Smilex gas, I think.
Yeah, and in Batman Begins, it's the fear toxin from Scarecrow.
I really enjoyed the DLC they released for Arkham Knight. It was a Batmobile racetrack, and it was and
I wasn't a big fan of how they included the Batmobile.
No, I wasn't really, but it was just cool to like race through these locations. Like you got to race past all this balloon. But yeah, no, I agree. The Batmobile was very much like it should have literally just been a way of getting from A to B. But even like looking at the box art, it's like the entire box art is the Batmobile. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to defuse bombs in it, and these drones.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Again and again.
And like so many puzzles you have to solve with the Batmobile. It should literally just be a way of getting yourself from A to B.
Yeah, plus I much prefer jumping across buildings and gliding across.
And me.
That's way better. That's what I want Batman to be.
And I prefer the Batmobile design from Arkham Asylum than Arkham Knight. Because in Arkham Asylum, you literally just walk past the Batmobile because it's like broken. And I prefer that design to the tank thing that they did in Arkham Knight. So, have you ever heard the story? And I did check on when I watched this on 4K a while ago just to see if I could see anything. Apparently, the money that the Joker is handing out has the Joker's face on it. But
yeah, I heard it does.
Yeah, I've never been able to find a shot of the money. I've never been able to get a clear frame of the film where you can see it clearly. Like, to me, it just looks like Benjamin Franklin, but I don't know. And like I said, even on the 4K, I tried to like get a close-up shot. I just couldn't. It obviously has to be different than real money, because obviously that would be counterfeiting otherwise. But I don't know.
I can imagine him making that money in his factory.
Yes.
It's like the scene in Springfield Connection where they make counterfeit jeans. Who would have guessed that they're counterfeit bills?
Yeah.
Go with a smile. Oh, he's got corona.
Oh God. Wear a mask. Where's the gas coming out of? Because the effects there are a bit ropey. They just sort of come out of anywhere. It seems to be coming out of the balloon.
Yeah, no, but like, how's the balloon staying up?
Yeah, and the effect makes it look like it's just coming like phantom out of the balloon. Like the effects are a bit dodgy here. Oh, okay. So yeah, the close up of the gas tank, but the wide shots.
Gas tank.
The wide shots are a bit weird. In general, I think the effects around this part of the film, they hold up, but they're not as impressive as they perhaps were. I'm talking the miniatures, most obviously. Like when the Batwing crashes, it's quite, you can tell it's a miniature.
I like how it gives everyone a permanent grin on their face, like the Joker.
Yeah, it's quite eerie. I really like it.
Plus, I could be wrong, but I think Batman and Robin is the only time where he doesn't fly the Batplane.
Batman and Robin?
Yeah, because he flies it in Batman Returns when he's in the sewers. Then he flies it at the end of Batman Forever. And I don't think he ever uses it in Batman and Robin.
That's a good point. I thought that said Clark Kent then.
With all the toy adverts that were in Batman and Robin, I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah, he has this like ice rink thing, doesn't he? That he rides along the ice. Yeah. Because then Batgirl.
Batman Forever, it even shows him going, "What do you suggest, Alfred? By sea or by air?"
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and you get that awesome shot of the Batwing like stretching its arms out, which is pretty cool. That's the point, actually. Yeah, I mean, I guess not including the Nolan films, because that would Batman Begins he doesn't, The Dark Knight he doesn't. Does he?
It's not till The Dark Knight Rises he has the Batman.
Yeah, he does in Batman v Superman, doesn't he? Because he has Alfred's piloting it remotely.
Oh yeah, he does.
Because he gets him to shoot the bottom half of the building.
Plus, when you get, there's a bit where the Joker comes down from his stand, and I think one of his goons is actually on all fours, being another step forward.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I love that detail. I love this.
Balloons. Oh my god, it's like Spider-Man when the Green Goblin attacks the balloon festival.
Oh yeah, yeah. Out am I!
Well made again, Spider-Man.
Impressive!
Not the fact that you didn't move your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. Bob Gunn.
Why does he kill Bob?
I know, yeah. One of those things.
I can remember buying a Joker car when I was little.
A Joker car?
It was like the Batmobile but painted purple and green, and it had the Joker's face on it as a button. You pressed it and it like opened.
Oh, that's cool.
That's an awesome shot.
I love the shot, yeah. There's I think it was either La La Land Records or Entrada released a complete soundtrack of this, and that was the cover art. And it was an awesome thing. I still, because I've got quite a few editions of this. I really want to get the Laserdisc version and frame it, because the Laserdisc cover is literally just the bat symbol. It's an awesome cover.
Well, I originally had I can't remember what year they were released, but I think it was like one of the first ever DVDs, and all four films in the from 1989 to 1997, the early DVD releases in a box set.
Yes, yeah.
The picture quality was really grainy on all of them, so
I had
in high definition they look fantastic.
Yeah, they do. I had the early DVDs of I don't know if you ever had these, the Warner Brothers Snapper cases. They were
I can't remember those.
Yeah, in the very early days of DVD, like late 90s, when DVD was first becoming a thing, Warner Brothers, the way they packaged their films was like this weird sort of handle, and you flicked the handle up and it was just a bit of paper and cardboard holding in the DVDs. And they had it was a really cool, they had really cool bits of artwork in it. So I have those versions packed away somewhere, but those are what I grew up with. But Batman Forever was censored on my copy. Don't know if I only realised this years later when I got the Blu-ray.
Oh really? What did they censor?
It was, see, this is what I mean about the miniatures look a bit dodgy here.
Yeah, it does.
So Batman Forever it's a 12 now because it's uncut everywhere, but they censored it down to a PG. So they removed a lot of things, like Two-Face got the brunt of it. Most of the sadistic threat and menace, I think they described it as. So
sexual innuendo.
Well, one of the edits that surprised me the most, actually, when I got the Blu-ray was the scene where Frank dies, where Enigma kills his boss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they in the version that everyone knows, pretty much. He throws him out the window, and then he grabs him as he's out the window, and he goes, "Frank, babe, you are fired." On my version, it was edited so he pushes him out the window, and then it cuts directly to the shot of him falling, so it just looked like he pushed him straight out the window rather than taunting him. Which is, yeah, I'll talk more about what was cut when we get to Forever, but it was actually quite a lot when because there's a video on YouTube comparing it, and it's actually quite a lot that was cut out. And Returns had that as well, because there was the bit where Catwoman puts the aerosol cans into the microwave. And
I think that I've encouraged people to do that.
Yeah, that was very contentious. I'm surprised this wasn't. Well, actually, I'm not really surprised, actually, because there's not a lot of violence in it.
I mean, the one that makes me wince is when he grabs that fork and bangs his head against the bell.
Yeah.
You can just feel that.
And the noise as well, like the ringing. I love that oversized gun, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's definitely a Joker prop.
Yeah. And I was happy they didn't shy away from doing things like the acid flower and this and everything, and the oversized gun. Like it embraces the pulpiness of it. I do think this goes on a bit long. Like the whole climbing up the stairs drags on a little bit. It makes me laugh when he looks up, because he has to shift his whole body upwards just to look up the spire.
there were complaints when they released on video that it was too dark for people to see.
That doesn't surprise me, actually, because yeah, the limitations of VHS. It was because if you look at the VHS copies of Alien, it looks overly bright because they shifted the brightness up so much because Alien's obviously a very dark film. So to compensate for the quality of VHS, they shifted the brightness up massively.
They don't even go up to help or try and clear the wreckage.
Yeah, I know.
Just like, oh, let Batman do it.
Whatever, can't get in now.
We're useless.
Do. Is that paint on the walls? Is that like coloured paint, or is it just the light? It looks like purple or blue. Oh, I think it might just be the light.
It does a bit, yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, it looks like graffiti on the walls. Point those searchlights up on the tower, he says. What is that gonna... Because they're in the middle of the bow. Like, I'm not sure searchlights are gonna really help.
Yeah, this is like being trapped in an office block. Instead of getting you out, they say, put a spotlight on the outside. They can't see you.
Yeah. The tower is so high as well. Like, I'm not sure what you intend to achieve with this. Have a bat in my belfry. That shot, like, coming in on Batman is... I remember that's was used in a lot of the trailers. I say I remember like I was there.
We're not that old.
Yeah.
Watchers. It's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Of course, if anyone else calls you Beast.
Sorry, this came out before Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, it did, yeah. Beauty and the Beast was 91, wasn't it? 91?
Yeah, this is 89. This was the same year as The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. I watched that recently. Little Mermaid holds up very well.
It was also the same year as Last Crusade and License to Kill.
It was a big year for genre, like, because they had Ghostbusters 2 as well. There was a lot of competition. This kind of beat them all though. Like, this was the
highest grossing film of the year.
Yeah, this really overshot. Like, Ghostbusters 2, a lot of people say the reason why that didn't do as well as expected was because of this. Like, this just
and also License to Kill as well. It's why.
Yeah.
Since then, no Bond film has come out in the summer. It's always been
yeah
November time.
Yeah, because I was I was thinking before obviously all this kicked off, I was thinking it's going to be really weird to see a Bond film in April, because I've only ever seen a Bond film in like October, November time, so in the cinema that is. So.
Well, ITV tends to put them on in the New Year's season.
Yeah, they do. Oh god, that bell. Here we go in a minute. See, some of this I can get behind a little bit, because you can kind of wreck on it and go, oh well, that guy didn't die when he hits the bell in a minute.
I mean, he's pretty strong to be beating up Batman.
Yeah.
Unless that guy's Bane.
Oh god.
Then again, Bane didn't exist until the mid-90s.
Yeah, he was a late addition to the mythos, wasn't he? Which is weird, because now it's proper rough, isn't it? Ooh, yeah. You can feel it. Yeah, it's weird, because and Harley Quinn as well, the fact she was created for the animated series, you you kind of now consider Bane and Harley Quinn to be figureheads on the level of the Joker and Catwoman and Riddler and stuff.
Yeah.
The new
Harley Quinn was going to be in the 5th Batman film.
Yeah.
And they were even going to get a cameo from
Nicholson, yeah.
as part of the Scarecrow's fear toxin.
That would have been cool.
And well, apparently they plan to get all the Batman villains back for a nightmare sequence.
That would have been very cool. I mean, it does surprise me that it took them until 2016 to put Harley Quinn in a film, considering that she really took off quickly. Cause it's
Then again, I don't think she would have fitted in Nolan's.
No, she wouldn't have. No, but then again, you could have had, I don't know, an insane sort of.
Talia al Ghul be Harley Quinn.
Yeah, like a Harley-esque character.
Maybe.
Yeah. He looks
She
very.
believed that what he was doing was right.
Yeah, no. I think there could have been, because the Gotham route kind of did Harley as this insane. Gotham did Harley in a roundabout way without actually doing Harley, didn't they?
Keaton just smiled there, and he still managed to look intimidating. I know you did.
The opticals mess up it here in a minute, don't they? Because the Joker's jacket turns red.
It does, yeah.
Which is a shame. I thought that would be something that they would, because when Superman came out on 4K, they colour corrected a lot of the opticals. So when his suit turned a different colour because of the blue screen, they colour corrected it. I really thought that would have been something that they would have done for the 4K, but they didn't. They left it as it was, and it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. They say that Tim Burton oversaw the 4K transfer, but I've not heard any evidence to say he did.
I can't imagine him approving that transfer. Because, like I said, in terms of just picture quality, it's fantastic. It's just a very odd colour. Because it would be an easy thing to fix as well, like the opticals. It would be quite an easy thing to just colour correct that part of the footage.
Yeah, there it is. It's red.
Yeah, looking at and the fact that it cuts back and forth between it as well. Maybe it's because of the tartan on his trousers. Maybe that's a bit hard to. Let me lend you a hand, and she falls for that. She falls. She's so, like, and
this guy's capable of.
Yeah.
You still fall for it.
You still fall for his like. And the fact that he did the same thing earlier with the whole "I'm melting" thing.
Yeah. Oh, he calls him Batsy. That's what he calls. That's the animated series as well.
Yeah.
That's what the Joker calls Batman. I don't think he ever called him that in The Dark Knight, though. Hey, Batsy.
Yeah, you can't imagine Heath Ledger doing the sort of over the top comic booky lines like that. That's not a criticism at all. Like Heath's Joker works perfectly for what that film is.
Yeah. The Joker copter.
The Joker copter, yeah. And again, like the logo is just comic book Joker. Like it's not Jack Nicholson's face at all. I really like that. So he says, sometimes I just kill myself. What is that?
That literally happens.
Yeah, that's
his last line.
I'm kind of thinking that it's not really a joke, mate. You've just literally just said that you're going to kill yourself. Because that's not a pun on anything that's happened. He just says, sometimes I kill myself. You know, like a pun of, oh, kill myself laughing. But he's, as far as he's concerned, he's escaping. I wonder what his plan was beyond this, though. Like, him escaping, what would he have done?
Was he going to escape Gotham in general?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's Joker fell from a great building screaming. Heath Ledger did it laughing. I think we know which one's better.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that's... Oh, I never even realised that.
There's also Jerome in Gotham falls off the building laughing, knowing his legacy will live on.
God, I remember when That's one of the best scenes in Gotham is in that first season where you first are introduced to Jerome, and he starts crying during the interrogation session, and then it just suddenly turns into laughter.
Yeah,
Cameron
and even without
Monaghan.
the makeup, he still gives out a fantastic Joker grin.
Cameron Monaghan is so good.
And to think in the film version at the time, we had Jared Leto.
Yeah. I don't even... yeah. Was it him who went off in like some adventure in the desert and then came back 2 weeks into the coronavirus pandemic and just was unaware of it at all? Was that another actor?
I'm not sure, I've not read that.
Yeah, he like went off on like an adventure in the desert to isolate himself just for like one of his spiritual things, and then he just came back and suddenly the world was in lockdown. I could be thinking of someone else completely there, but I think that was him. I've always wondered, this note that Batman leaves them, I can't imagine Keaton's Batman speaking that. Do you know what I mean? If the forces of evil should ever rise again.
Gets rid of any photos that are taken of him.
Yeah.
Like any photographers take of him. Yeah, can't imagine them leaving him a note.
And even just...
If you need me, use the signal.
Yeah, like the wording in the letter as well. It's like, if the forces of evil... Like, I can't imagine Keaton saying that. If the forces of evil should rise... Like, I don't know. It sounds more like someone like Kevin Conroy would say that.
Or even Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, sir, we're all on the same team.
Oh, good old Christopher Reeve.
Compared to Henry Cavill, I'm taking you in without breaking you.
Oh, for God's sake, yeah.
Superman would not
I
say
don't
that.
think it's Henry Cavill's fault. I just think it's stuff.
Yeah.
Because in those bits in Justice League where he does get the chance to smile and do some cheesy Superman stuff, he's really good. It's just a shame.
In the movie, Lois Lane asks him, "Who are you?" and he just simply says, "A friend."
Yeah.
Well, Superman doesn't seem like a friend to
He's
anyone.
not my friend. You know, when he's... You know, when his eyes are glowing red like a deep... And in the Ultimate Edition as well, he actually considers killing Batman as an alternative to what Lex wants him to do. It's like, what? I honestly, I really don't... It's so un-Superman-y.
If this commentary goes down well, we are going to get people who are probably going to want us to go through that 3-hour mess.
Oh my God. I mean, I'd do it just because... I'd have someone there to support me. But, like, watching it last week, that was such a struggle. It's because it's so depressing.
Yeah. I mean, to counter the depression, this film does end on a triumphant note.
Yeah, this is...
Except we'll never see Vicky Vale again, because Alfred says to her, Mr. Wayne might be a little late.
I'm not a bit surprised.
And by the next film, she's gone.
I love this ending shot, though. It's so iconic, and the music and everything.
Yeah, him standing ready to fight crime.
It's so, like... His ears look really short, though.
A bit, yeah.
Like, in that
I
last
don't
shot.
think that was Michael Keaton.
It's probably not. It's such a great, like, rousing ending, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
William Hootkins, yeah, that's Porkins, isn't it? Hootkins. Got a very distinctive name. Yeah, Derek.
As a film, I still think it holds up really well, because it just feels like the real deal for Batman. This feels like very much a comic book film.
Yeah,
you can enjoy it for what it is.
I've got a lot. Yeah, for me there are a lot of flaws with it, but yeah, but I don't think it like because a lot of people say 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, best Batman movie ever. I don't think it's that good for me, but I really do think it's one of those benchmark films in the superhero genre. Because
it's definitely a landmark.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of fun as well.
I think this was the first dark superhero film.
Basically, I mean, I'm trying to think. So yeah,
the only one you had before this was Superman.
Yeah, and that took itself seriously, but it wasn't dark. It's very much light and fluffy. It just takes the material,
It's just very much
sincerely.
family friendly.
Yeah. Oh wow, Shirley Walker was a conductor. I thought she was only brought on for the animated series. That's very cool.
So no wonder she was brought on for the animated series.
I thought she was, because I know Danny Elfman did a few little bits and pieces for that, but I thought she was brought on for that. I didn't realise she was involved with this. I mean, I'm interested to see if she was involved with the second one now.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Chuck Finch. Does this song sample the Batman theme, Danny Elfman? It sounds like it sounds like there are parts of the Batman theme in this, like in the melody. See what I mean? This song just doesn't seem to fit with what we've just seen.
Yeah, neither does the songs at the end of I can't remember for Returns, but I think for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, but Batman Forever got the famous Seal song, didn't it? Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah.
But weirdly,
the thing is, just in this cast list that we're seeing here, Michael Keaton's credited above Jack Nicholson.
I'd never thought of that. Yeah, that's actually a bizarre. Because you would think, considering he's got top billing everywhere. Tommy Nutter did Jack Nicholson's clothes. Selected.
I know I think it's the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. There's a guy called Joe Pancake.
Joe Pancake. Yeah. Yes, because in Oliver Harper's commentaries, they take the mick out of that all the time.
Yeah.
Good old Joe Pancake.
Theme from a Summer Place. That's in this.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I just from that Simpson gag. From a summer place. It's the theme. Next. Pinewood Studios, London, England.
Because that's the thing. You think these songs that are in these superhero films, sometimes they're literally just someone's got it on the radio 5 seconds in the background of a scene, and it's just like, that was in it.
And that is the end of Batman.
That's that. I hope everyone enjoyed the commentary. This has certainly been a lot of fun to do. I've never done a commentary before, so thank you to Isaac for approaching me to do this, because it's definitely a lot of fun.
Yep.
We will be back with Batman Returns at some point in the near future.
We shall return with Batman Returns.
We shall return with Batman Returns. I will link Isaac's channel in the description. Once again, hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.